So let's start by actually designing our website. The Neoskeleton does not provide any front-end tooling because there are so many options. Some people like to use Bootstrap, some like to use SERP Foundation, Materialize, Kendo, Semantic UI, many of these options. So on purpose, the Neoskeleton just provides a static CSS file and a static JavaScript file. But we, of course, want to now build a front end. So for our use case, let's use Bulma, which is a really small and simple CSS framework. Bulma provides a Bulma start feature. And this is what we want to use. Let's go to the GitHub page. And this is a base template for using Bulma with CSS built from Sass and with the newest JavaScript compiled through Babel. So we want to start this by cloning the repository. And what we want to do is, let me show you this first. So here in our Vienna.js site resources public folder, we have a folder called Frontend. And this just is a nice pattern. You could put it directly in public, but having this Frontend folder works really nicely. And you see right now, this is just some static code. So we want to get rid of that folder and instead create it again based on the Bulma start template. So what I'm doing here is I'm going into distribution packages, Vienna.js site, resources, public, and here I want to clone the Bulma start in a new folder called Frontend. Okay, and next step, of course, we have to do is we have to get rid of the old Git repository because we don't want that to be connected with this skeleton. So we go in the Frontend folder and then we remove the Git folder. Okay, so now if you open Git, you will see that the old CSS and JavaScript file is gone and we have a setup for our new Bulma. Okay, but before we commit that, let's actually get this project started. So here, the next steps we have to do is npm install. After that, npm start. That will take a second. So now, if we reload the site, it will show a website without any styling because the JavaScript and CSS files are not existing anymore. And if I go to the console, I can see that these files couldn't be loaded. So let's explore how Neos includes those files. In our Neoskeleton under configuration, we have a file called settings include assets. And this is the simplest way for you to include any assets because it automatically adds a cache busting to it. So if we would see the source code here, you notice here at the back there's a bust, and this automatically means it will be cache busted and we don't have to do that ourselves manually. So right now, instead of including in the head the index CSS from public frontend, we want to include a file called /css main. And here the file comes from CSS. And if you maybe later change to inlining, we can do that as well here. And for JavaScript, it's in lib main. So it's again main here. This one here uses lib. Okay. So now Bulma is already installed and running. Let's open it again. Voila, and we see that Bulma runs here, and you can see on styles that something changed. So to wrap this up, let's go into the folder here, and in the README, we call this our Vienna.js frontend. Remove all the Bulma stuff, which is not important for us, and instead just keep that. To start the project run. So let's get rid of these things we don't need anymore and commit that. So I don't want to commit the index HTML. We might look at that for references right now, but that does not belong in our repository since all rendering is done by Neos. So we have our changes to the settings files and everything we need for a modern front-end setup, including Bulma.